And literally, I've heard now boots on the ground. I don't know.
I mean, it's so insane. It's so insane. I just want to show one more attitude of like a segment of the Democrats that really, I mean, this like, I'm not surprised by the source of it because he's such a horrible person. It was this awful tweet by Malcolm Nance that you probably saw. And I love, her name's Blake, I think. Right?
Yeah, like Blakely,
yeah. She does fantastic videos. So she posted this tweet by Malcolm Nance. He says, for those who are just listening, official ruling. The Free Palestine movement in the USA is finished. They utterly failed to show up at the DNC. The biggest crowds were no more than 150 to 500 at peak, but it included multiple uninvolved protest groups. Pro-Palestinians were invisible in Chicago, except on X and TikTok videos. No one saw or heard them when entering the United Center. No one. They will make a last gasp to protest, but honestly, they're hated and they failed. They're done. Kamala Harris has defeated them. Like, this is insane. I don't even, and look, I'm not suggesting this is how all Democrats feel or behave, but this is certainly reflects a segment of the Democratic Party's like influencers, if you will. Well, and it's just sick. I'm just curious what you have to think. What do you think about that?
I mean, Malcolm Nance has made his whole career off anti-terrorism, and I'm doing air quotes, and military. So obviously, like, all he cares about is the war machine. He loves perpetrating this idea of Islamic jihadists. This is like what he's literally made his entire life off of. So if we saw Palestinians as resistance fighters, he wouldn't have a job. So that's the truth. I mean, that's the reality of who Malcolm Nance is. He is, as Blakely said, like a racist. He's Islamophobic as fuck. And he's horrible. And one of the sick parts about him is he's learned Arabic in order to like.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's one of his.
That.
Yeah. So this is like so ridiculous. Chicago has one of the largest Palestinian populations outside of Palestine. So to try to act like there was no representation of Palestinians, pro-Palestinians, as they call them, Palestinians, solidarity with Palestinians, anti-Zionist, that's ridiculous. Yeah, we saw it all over the internet because it was there. If it wasn't, then all these people wouldn't have to be plugging their ears. So the reality is we're seeing videos of people plugging their ears because they were loud and they were around. This guy just wants to pretend. And that's the sad part about Twitter and or X or whatever you want to call it. All of these places is that they're telling their own narrative that other people aren't paying attention to because the mainstream media isn't doing its job. It's not actually showing what's going on. And so people are looking to social media to try to find out what happened. And if they follow Malcolm Nance, they think that, not a single Palestinian was there and that Kamala Harris beat the Palestinians, which, like, what you're talking about? You're like, why is that a good thing?
He said it was like the most boomer thing ever. He was like, the pro-Palestinians. I'm like, and that's like, what? But moreover, I think you make a really good point here about the fact that Chicago has like this massive Arab, I think you said the biggest community of like Arab Americans in the country. Yeah. And on top of that, okay, so I want to talk a bit about what actually went down with this whole not letting a Palestinian speak. I mean, I'm of a couple minds here. Yeah. I think it was a good thing that we saw this play out because it showed how much the Democratic Party really just doesn't give a shit about Palestinians, to the point where they would not even let a person, I think she was like a councilwoman state representative from Georgia, Palestinian American woman who was, and her speech, she actually like ended up releasing what her speech was going to be. She was going to endorse Kamala Harris. She wasn't going to get up there and be like, we're not voting for this woman. She was going to call for a ceasefire, which isn't anything radical. It's even Kamala Harris is even saying she's working towards a ceasefire. And then she was going to endorse Kamala Harris. And they wouldn't even let a Palestinian get up and do that. I found it like slightly embarrassing. I was like, why are you guys trying so hard to speak and endorse this woman? But I'm glad it happened because it showed that how much they don't care. So there's these two things happening. There's obviously the whole uncommitted movement was people who were like, no, we're still going to get behind the Democrats, but we're going to try to push them. And I think they proved that the Democrats at this point cannot be pushed. And then there's the abandoned Harris crowd, which is like, no, we are done. They were abandoned Biden before. They hold Harris in the same light and they're refusing. So okay, this is what I wanted to know where you stand on this and what your thoughts are on what went down at the DNC with not letting a Palestinian speak and why abandon Harris over the uncommitted crowd.
I mean, 100% I support the uncommitted crowd. I think that what they're doing is really valiant and beautiful, and it speaks to the idea of American democracy. Like, we are supposed to be able to tell our representatives how to represent us and to use our votes to push our representatives, president, or, anything down from there. We're supposed to be able to tell those people, our politicians, what we want and have them do that. That's the whole point of voting, where our vote is supposed to be powerful. And what they're doing is telling us, man, we don't give a flying F about your vote.